Hello, everybody, and welcome along to Friday Market Movers with me, your host, Daryl Carter. We're going to be looking at Cheltenham today. Yes, it's the start of the November meeting, and we need to find out what is moving in the markets this morning. We're going back to use the odds checker grid today to find out which is a sea of blue and which is a sea of red. This is not sponsored by any company whatsoever, so there is no bias towards any bookmaker on this video. Okay, let's kick off 110. We kick off at 110 at Cheltenham today. The horse for money is Marlarco, who is into as short as 3-1 with William Hill. Still as big as 7-2, 4-1 with Bet Tom, Bet Goodwin, and Bet 365. He's come for money. He's got a high head carriage. He's a bit awkward, but I can imagine that a lot of these horses are moving because of the impending rain that is due at Cheltenham today. We've had 7 mils overnight, and today we're expecting a good bit more. This is fresh ground, though. Fresh ground on the first race of the day. So I'm expecting it to be testing later on, and probably it still be testing in this first race, but not as testing as you'd expect. Not going to be a bog for this first race. As legends have it, for Ben Paulin has moved in the market also into 7-1 from a double figure price yesterday. As legends have it, gets first time cheap pieces on today. He is a well handicapped horse, but his finishing effort has been pretty tame. He's finished second, third, and second on his last 4 starts. And he just needs a bit more. That's why they put the cheap pieces on him. Priory Park's a big mover in the market, put up by my pal Kevin Blake yesterday at a big price. Now into as short as 6-1 with Coral. 7-1 with Coral. Bet Goodwin 6-1, but as big as 15-2 with 888 Sport. He won't mind the rain at all. I can see this drifting out a bit though. I think normally when a big tipster puts up a horse, they normally crash and normally drift back out. But it'll be interesting to see how he gets on. He's currently 9-1 with Bet 365, just pushed out a touch there now as we speak. So keep an eye on that. If that goes out to a double figure price, you know that the market has just moved on the back of a tipster's recommendation and then coming back out. Cadena is interesting. He's pretty weak, to be honest, being pushed to 6s as we speak. There's red around a Poix de Nom with Dan Skelton, 5-1 pretty much across the board. Short as 4-1 with Betfred, but this was pushed into favourite yesterday, so there had to be some market movement and him coming out. I can't imagine he's going to be a big drifter. It'd be interesting to see how he gets on, but I think he's a very well handicapped horse. No other real market moves. Those bigger prices just seem to get bigger and bigger and bigger. The one undoubtedly for money this morning though is Marlarco, but that high head carriage is just a concern when you're spinning around that home sharp bend and then coming up the hill. You need to be able to put your head down. You need to kick on. So there's your market moves in the first race of the day. Then we move on to the 145. Fugitive's a little bit weak at the top of this market. A horse that's always been seen to best effect on the new course, not the old course. It is going to be pretty testing by the time they get on the chase track, I think. Drill Deal has come for money, was the outsider of the entire field. Ran really nicely, actually, on his penultimate start, finishing second to a horse that runs later on the card for Henry de Bromhead. Is quite capable, won't mind the ground, so you can see why that's moved into 8-1. But the two at the top of the market, they're steady enough, but Fugitive just now pushing out to 3-1 across the board. Gunsight Ridge, 4-1 is the best price you can get about him. Shortest with Bet Tom, 3-1. I can imagine you'll probably get 5s a bit later on today. He's a nice horse. He's got to prove his stamina up this hill, though. Eldorado Allen's pretty solid at 8-1. Lord Baddesley, despite always wanting good ground in his career, is into 7-1 in places. 7-1 with Bet Victor, 7-1 with Star Sports, 7-1 with Betfred, 15-2 with Sky Bet, 17-2 with Bet Tom. So a bit mixed signals there. Mr. Coffee's been weak this morning. He's out to 9-1, biggest price. He is a horse that is definitely going to stay on fairly strongly in the closing stages. I did read in Nicky Henderson's column, he did say that they were thinking about coming from behind with him. So he might lack the pace. He might just be running on for a bit of place money at the finish. If he was mine, I'd be going from the front with him, powering on, knowing that he stays a lot further than this. But 9-1, no money for him this morning. Lord Ballansley and Drill Deal, the biggest movers in that market in that 145. The 220, the mover this morning is Double Powerful, 7-2 Opened up at 5-1 and 11-2 when the markets first opened for this. He's as short as 3-1 with Bet Tom and 3-1 with AK Bets. 4-1 Ladbrokes and 4-1 Coral is the last 4-1 available if you want to go and get it this morning. The time currently is 9:02. Big Bang was backed in. He's now drifting back out. He's 4-1. He looks to have a good chance. No money, no love at all for Isaac de Zabo. And Wade Out's a little bit weak at 9-4 at the top of the market. Leave of absence, he's being back 2-1 with Star Sports, 11-4 biggest with 888. So that market's got to settle on him shortly. And it would not surprise me if he went off favourite for this race. But Double Powerful for me will stay all day in these conditions. Step back up and trip is a really good move over fences for him, and it's good to see some market support. I was told by connections that he would come on a ton for his debut run, and he looks to be being supported in that 220 Double Powerful you mover in that race. The 14.55, the big one of the day, John Bond, been very, very weak all week in the market. He is now being nibbled in this morning. 10-11 is the best price you can get with William Hill, 5-6, 4-5 across the board. Yeah, a bit of money for him, bit of support for him this morning, perhaps without the amount of rain that was expected overnight. There's probably enhanced his chances a little bit more. Le de Sud is very weak, 10-3. Liberty Hunter been weak this morning as well, 6-1, having been as short as 4-1 and 3-1 during the week. Matata has been backed. Also, one that's going to force the pace in this race. I don't think John Bond's going to be allowed to have his own way out in front. I think Matata's going to go out and try and make this a good gallop. I think Haddock's de Zabo, the outsider of the field, who has been nibbled, but is still 40-1, easily available across the board. I think he's probably going to go forward as well. Now, with these markets, you need to remember that a lot of front runners, if they're big prices, they're going to be back because they're looking to trade them in running. Liberty Hunter, 6-1. Le de Sud, 10-3. Pretty weak. No real money behind that one. Liberty Hunter just gone to 11-2 with a couple of places, Virgin Bets, Sports Index, and Unibets. But 6-1 remains across the board if you fancy Liberty Hunter. 10 and 11-1 for Matata. No love for the old boy Edward Stone, who's out to 22-1. But John Bond, solid in that Schlur chase this morning at the morning market movers. Another one that's pretty solid at the top of the market is Sea of Blue behind Heads Up in the 3:30, 15-8. 2-1's the best price you can get. Coral, Ladbrokes, SpreadX, Betfair. There are the best prices. Everybody else, 15-8 across the board, 7-4. No drama this end. Very weak for Paul Nicholls. Out to 11-2. That's the biggest price he's been all week. One for money is King's Bucks for Henry de Bromhead. Into 10-1 across the board. 10-1 across the board. Shortest is Sky Bet 8s, Bet Tom 9s, and Unibet 9s. But 10-1 readily available. Some moves coming for some outsiders in this contest. No love for Great Fleet, despite that brilliant run last time behind Conman Johnny. 7-1. 7-1. That's back out to his original opening price. Into something good with Nico de Boinville on is 14s, 16s. But Heads Up remains pretty strong at the market. He's got to prove his stamina, and he's got to prove that he handles this ground. I thought his run in the champion bumper was very much flattered by his racing position. It turned into a sprint. But it'll be interesting. King's Bucks is the one for money at this moment in time. It's currently 9:06. The final race on the card, Alphonse Legrand and Fortune de Mer ahead in this market. No real money for Shade of Winter, who is very, very weak, out to 8-1 this morning. Alphonse Legrand, best price you can get, 11-4. BetMGM, SpreadX, Unibet, Virgin Bet, Sporting Index, Bet365, and 5-2 everywhere else. Fortune de la Mer, 7-2. Recent winner here at Cheltenham for Dan Skelton. 7-2 is the best price with Sky Bet. 888. Unibet, in fact, it's there in 5 or 6 places. 10-3 generally other than that. Jack Hyde has come for a bit of money also into as short as 7-1, but as big as 17-2. So again, the market undecided on what to expect from the likes of Jack Hyde. Going further down this market, a little bit of nibbles for Aeroplane Blonde. Keelan Woods takes the ride on that one there. Is currently 20-1. Did open up as big as 28s, I think, 28s, 25s, 20 to 1 in 16s in places. But the two at the top of the market is what the punters want. Alphonse Legrand and Fortune de Mer, who will come out on top in that final race of the day. Lots of market moves this morning reacting to the weather, and it will continue to move throughout the morning, no doubt, should that rain start again. Until tomorrow, everybody, have a great day at Cheltenham, the first day of the November meeting. Really look forward to it. Until next time, be lucky.